Hey, what's going on, everyone? Good morning and happy weekend to you all. We're going to discuss something very important in this video, and it's going to be a multi-part video. I know I've started a lot of those recently. This is going to be the one I'm focusing on, though, most importantly. It's going to be a Trade Better series, and this one is part 1, Master Your Own Psychology. Now, psychology is the #1 most important factor in your day-to-day trading lives, and we're going to break that down in this video. So trading psychology, this is very important to keep in mind. There's 2 different forms of it. Now, many traders, many people only choose to use one side of it. And typically the ones using both sides of the psychology types are either #1, using herd mentality to lure people in, or #2, just blatantly putting out false information to get people to perform psychologically in the opposite way that they would, so that way it would benefit themselves in the long run. So, trading psychology, master your emotions. Once a trader understands the psychology on a personal and a collective level, it is important for the trader to manage emotions accordingly. Although some emotions should be embraced, negative effects of trading psychology generally have a greater impact on investment decisions than that of positive psychology. So, trading psychology is more individual than market psychology. Market psychology is the market as a whole, the broader market. Trading psychology is more individual. So the 2 main components of emotion involved here are going to be fear and greed. And I'm sure you've all heard the famous quote, be fearful when others are greedy and be greedy when others are fearful. Now that is a basic psychological quote there that it really does go a long way, because in the trading psychology aspect, fear and greed are going to be your 2 primary instincts. There's also another one that a lot of people don't really realize that a lot of people are using, which is reliance. That is something you do not want to have. You do not want to be reliant on any other entity in the market, whether it's for information, whether it's for a play or a stock pick. You do not want to be in that situation, because you have to understand that once you start being reliant, you've lost your own personal psychology. Now, market psychology, on the other hand, describes the overall behavior of a market based on emotional and cognitive factors applied to the market as a whole. Now, you also have greed and fear in here as well, but it also comes with excitement, expectations, and circumstance as well. Now, market psychology, this is where technical analysis comes in. Technical analysis is the primary tool that is used to determine market psychology, using indicators and things like that. However, it's only one side of the equation. While trading psychology deals with more fundamentals, market psychology deals with more technicals. Now, you can't get an entire picture around a stock based on technicals. Of course, you can do your best guess, but oftentimes market psychology can override the stock's fundamentals, pushing a stock price in an unexpected direction. Now, when you look at the 2 together, market psychology and trading psychology are 2 entirely different concepts and must be used in tandem with one another to grasp a full psychological grip on the market. Now, many traders, now especially YouTubers, only use one side of the equation, typically technical analysis. Technical analysis is the most widely used market psychology tool for rationalizing decisions, but is not enough to make accurate decisions as a whole. So if you look right here, I have it broken down. So on the trading side, we have more fundamental, it's more retail, individual. Impatience versus patience is typically the internal conflict going on. We also have greed and fear as our prominent emotions. And then typically most people that fall on this side of the psychological spectrum rely on trading gurus. Now, market psychology is more technical, hedge funds and algorithms, mass herding instead of individual. You have panic selling versus irrational exuberance as your primary internal conflicts. You have expectation and circumstance. Then you have most people that use this form of psychology only rely on media, talk shows, TV shows, things like that. So when you use them both together, what do you get when you combine these, technical and fundamental? You get clarity. What do you get when you combine retail, hedge funds, and algorithms? You get price action. What do you combine when you get individual and mass herding? You get behavioral tendency. What do you get when you combine impatience versus patience, panic selling versus irrational exuberance? You get the whole psychological picture. What do you get when you have greed, fear, expectation, and circumstance? You just get that. You get greed, fear, expectation, and circumstance. Except having these two, now you get all four. You can see how expectation and circumstance, once attributed to greed and fear, can actually give you a lot more leeway as far as control over the situation. So for example, hedge funds, they know we're expecting a squeeze. They know the circumstance is people are getting sick of waiting. At least, some people are. I feel like most people are being pretty patient about it. But in that situation, they can use these two things against us because most of us are in this greed and fear state of mind here. And if we're only in expectation and circumstance state of mind, then they can use greed and fear against us. So I hope all this is making sense. Now, while trading relies on gurus and markets rely on media, if you use these two different forms of psychology together, the only person you're going to have to rely on is yourself, which is the best case scenario. So to give you an example of a trader that uses only the trading psychology, maybe someone that relies on Discord alerts, emails, plays from a third party. Now, once you get the alert, once you get that email, once you get the note that it's time to make a play, you've given up your psychology. You're now at the discretion of the third party you're following, and the decisions are being made for you. That is not something you want to be getting yourself into, especially in a financial world. Now, on the other end, an example of a trader using only market psychology relies heavily on the media, stock shows, TV shows to get an understanding of the market, and the trading psychology is set by the interest of the media. And for example, AMC's worth a penny, GME squoze in January, shorts have covered. This is all purposeful, manipulated content put out, hoping that we're only going to use one side of the equation. So, while most people didn't buy into this, think about those that did. This is why they got them psychologically. This is why we've been saying this whole time, this is psychological warfare. So if you can take anything away from this first video here, number one, do your own research. Part 2 will be going over how to accomplish this in more detail, because I can tell you, first and foremost, you do not need anyone else to get any information that can verify your own concerns when it comes to a stock. You can find it all on your own for free. All you need to do is know how to get there. Number 2, as soon as you rely on anything for any information regarding the markets, you've lost your psychology. Number 3, keep in mind, gurus with paid memberships are playing off of that psychology, and they know this. Number 4, never trust anything without documentation. This is very important. Always verify for yourself, whether it's the media, a friend, a neighbor. Always check, because if you do, if you follow number 4, you'll be shocked by how many people don't know what the hell they're talking about. Number 6, this is finance. People will do anything to make a quick buck. Don't trust anyone. Again, this is why you should only trust yourself. Number 7, 99% of traders fail because only 1% of traders utilize the correct psychology. Without psychology, you aren't trading, you're following. Talk to y'all next time.